Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay. How are you doing this Sunday?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Pretty good. You're a self-care queen, so you had any, special things that you did today?
Yes. So today I actually did a lot of resting, a lot of it. Um, some days I'm usually trying to prep for Mondays, but because it's Memorial Day weekend, I don't really have
Right.
prep to do. So today I did a lot of resting. I stayed in bed a little later than normal. So that's how I started
Dope.
my day. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, Sundays, I always tell people Sundays, like naps are the best things to do on a Sunday. Naps, naps, naps.
They are, and I napped very well, like very well today.
That's good. That's good. So yeah, right. Workaholic, uh,
Really,
Fila,
yeah,
yes to rest. Exactly.
absolutely.
Leisure, rest. It's equally as productive as anything else you can do. I always tell people that.
Yeah, we don't talk
Um,
about rest as much because we always try to find ways to do other things so you can keep going, but keep going is not always beneficial to people. And, the more people talk about taking naps and taking rest, I think it will help because we are always on the go, and
mm,
we're taking that time to slow down at all.
exactly, exactly. Especially, when being productive, the more productive you are, like the more money you make, the more exposure you get. So it can be hard sometimes. You just say, okay, I need a breather. I need to rest more than the hours you get to sleep. Rest aside from that, like just a
Right.
nap time, a leisure time, So yeah, hello everyone that's joining. Yeah, so Toy, tell the you have a lot of like titles in your bio. You're a blogger, self-care queen, saw some
Mhm.
other things, and like, wow, this lady wears like a lot of hats, does a lot of things. I'm sure she's like very busy. And I think you said your anxiety crusher or something like that. I remember reading.
Yeah, an anxiety crusher. So I mean, I openly talk about having anxiety. I didn't realize I had as much anxiety as a kid because, we attribute like being a perfectionist with that's just the way that I am. I just like things
Mm,
to go a certain way. But then if I looked back on it, I'm like, you were really showing those attributes a lot earlier. And even with my
mm,
own children, I start to see it. And so I would encourage them, like, listen, we're not looking for perfection. We're looking for you just doing your best. But
mm,
for me, it shows up in different ways. Anxiety can come in from just the way that I interact with other people, my
mm,
ability to want to, like, retreat from other people, irritability for me. And when I started to realize that and, do therapy and there's other aspects too. You don't always have to do just therapy. But
of
when I started
course.
to do those things, I started to like feel better about myself and like not have these moments as often.
Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, so tell like the world and the audience that's here so far, like who you are and what you do, what you blog about and things like that.
So I call myself like a lifestyle blogger as well as wellness, and I've been doing this for about 7 years. This is going into year 8, and
Wow,
I really, yeah, 8 years. I can't believe that.
it's a very
Uh,
long time. Yeah.
a long time. But reality is that I started from dealing with postpartum depression. I'm a mom of
Ooh.
3, and I didn't feel like I went through it with my first, but my second, that's when the postpartum depression came.
Mm,
And I started going to therapy and, realizing I needed to, just get more aligned and, deal with the things that I had on my plate. And
right.
from that, my therapist was like, you talked about writing. And when you talk about writing, you light up. And I'm like, yeah, I really love to write. And she was like, why don't you start a blog? And I was like,
Mm,
I didn't know what a blog was. I didn't have any idea what to, how to start it, but I just took that leap. And I wasn't very consistent in the beginning. My website was so crazy. It didn't even look good. It didn't have all the aesthetics, but I would just talk about my own personal experiences. And that's what I kind of do now. Like I do go out and I do review things like food and restaurants and all that great
mm,
stuff. But the core of everything that I talk about is going to be about mental health and wellness. I talk about when I messed up, like if I go to an event and my anxiety has gotten the best of me where, you know, I'm not as social. I find that I'm not as social because that anxiety is strong. A lot of people think that because if you look on my page, you'll see all these wonderful things, but in the
yeah.
background, it takes a lot to show up. right? It takes a lot to start the process of even just showing up to just events or doing things. So
And even
let's talk
making
about that.
content, yeah, making
Yes,
content itself takes a lot of energy out of you. Yeah,
it
I can relate
does.
to that.
Because by the time you have an idea and you take that idea to record it or to put it out there, then you deal with the how will I be received, what people are going to think. And
Will they get
um,
engagement? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
the engagement numbers are crazy because you love to do the content that you're doing, but then in the background, because everything else is so measured by those things, it
Mm,
could be a lot. And so I try to do my best to, I think somebody said a couple weeks ago, it's like, listen, it's not your job. It's not your job to wonder how people are going to receive the message. It's just your job to put the message out. So I try to keep
mm,
that in the back of my mind when I'm creating content because it could become overwhelming.
exactly, exactly. Right. That's why it's even more important to take breaks from social media because even if you aren't a creator, social media itself can be very overwhelming. Just constant like content thrown at you and comparison of other people's life to your life. So when
Yeah,
you're on top of that, when you're a content creator, it's like everything's doubled. Like the pressure to how you're going to be received, right? Engagement, worrying about algorithm, right? It's just so much.
it's a lot. It is definitely a lot. And two, I just have to say this too. When I'm creating content, a lot of people think that all the content is created in real time. It's actually not always the case. And
Right.
that's also helps me too with my self care. For instance, if I know that I want to have a post at a certain time, I may decide to do all those posts ahead of time and then post them at a certain time so that I can still do things like enjoy my time or enjoy my family, go out and date night with my husband. Like it allows me the freedom to move in the same token, but it's a lot to try to juggle all that.
Yeah, for real. And just me, so I have no kids and I'm single, so I can't imagine you, right? Being a wife, being a mom, blogger, everything you have going on, content creator, like I'm sure it's even double what I feel. So,
I think any regardless of your status, sometimes I hear people say the same things you're saying. Well, I'm single, so I don't, I have less. But just think about it. You have whatever for you is the same amount for me. It just happens to be in the same portion for you. And so I
mm,
like to say that because there's people who may be watching this or watch the playback, and then they're saying to themselves, I wish I was married or I had these kids or I had these different things. But sometimes God's allowing us to move in the spacing that we're in, and He's given us a portion for our space.
wow, wow. Right. I heard this life coach say, like, enjoy the season that you're in, because, right, I'm in my single season. But then, if I get in a relationship, if I get married, then there might be times where I wish I was single. I don't have to report to anyone. I can go anywhere I want without having to
Check in. Yeah.
check in or take care of someone. So,
It's
right,
always
yeah,
the single people who wish that they were married and the married
right,
people who wish they were single because we
single,
don't respect our spaces and enjoy the time that we're in our spaces, to be honest with you. We're such in a
right,
rush to get to the next thing. And it's not all candies and popcorn over here. Like, marriage and having children and trying to balance life and being a content creator is
oof,
a lot. And I would be lying if I acted as if I just showed up and the magic just appeared or I had some dust that just sprinkled in the air, but that's far from it. It's being
mm,
intentional in each space. When I'm in my mom's space, I'm in that space. And when I'm in wife space, I'm in that space. And, content
right,
creation can happen in interchangle in any of those spaces. But,
exactly,
just being in and being grateful for the spaces that we're in, I feel like we definitely don't do enough of.
right. Pardon me, 23. Yup, exactly. Yeah, if any of what Toy is saying resonates with you, definitely leave a comment.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I love to read comments and I'll talk back. I mean, I'm not
Same.
not weird and curious. Like I like to have conversations, and
Me
again, I
too.
feel like
Yeah,
a lot
that's
of
why I
the
have this. Me too.
conversations is about so you can see yourself, because sometimes we don't see ourselves enough. And so the more that we
Mm,
see ourselves in these spaces and say, yeah, I understand, I've been there with her, I've gone through the same types of things. Like we're all in a community of with one another in some form. And at the end of the day, the things that we're having on our plate and things that we're going through are very much common. We just kind of tell ourselves that it's not the case, but it very much is. So if you're
exactly.
there and you're here, like talk back. We're here to have a conversation so that we all can be seen.
Exactly. We're going to acknowledge every single comment that comes. So let's get
Hmm.
into the questions. I'm so excited to hear your answers. Now, first question. How do you find time to hit pause on life and tend to yourself?
Schedule it.
Schedule it. Okay.
Schedule it. So there's a couple of things that are non-negotiable for me. If I go to the salon and get my hair done, I'm going to schedule that.
Oh,
I'm
for
not going.
sure.
Yeah, you got to schedule that.
Have
And
to.
I don't, yeah, I see somebody saying about unfollowing people. I do that quite often. So if you see my numbers going up or down, it's because that's what I do all the time. But yeah, you have to schedule some time for yourself. I may put time for me to just go to Barnes and Nobles or sit at a bookstore and just take my computer, my laptop, and just have that moment. I encourage my husband to do the same so that we can sync our schedules up, but schedule it. You need to schedule your time to for yourself. You need
For
that
yourself, yeah.
one-on-one time. Yeah, you just need that one-on-one time because I feel like sometimes we don't say enough of that. And yes, I have a listen. My schedule, if I could show you my calendar, is out of control. It's out of pocket. But even in the midst of that, 2 to 3 times a week, I am like, okay, well, let me fit in an hour of this. Like when the kids are at school, I may
Mm,
go an hour and take a walk, or I may go to, again, I love to read, so I may go to a bookstore. That's like my thing. Um, or
yeah.
even with running errands, I may take it a little slow. Like I may run errands, but I may stop at a coffee shop, or I may go and sit on a bench and just sit there for a little bit. Like those are just moments I build in to what I'm doing.
Yes, coffee shops are very like underrated, especially like Starbucks or even your random local coffee shops. Just the ambience is like just so relaxing, and for me, it helps me be more productive. But again,
Yeah.
when I think coffee shops and Starbucks, I think of people like working on their laptops, but that's not always the case. You can just go there to chill, like you said, and sit in a chair or sit on the bench outside and
I'm a
just
huge
people watch.
people.
People watch is fun. Right, I was
I
gonna
am a
say
huge people watcher.
people
So I like to
watching.
go to coffee shops that actually have like little tables outside. So I make sure that I'm
Mm,
because obviously if the person's working there, I want them to, be compensated for me sitting there. So I'll
right,
order something to eat, something to drink, and I'm just straight people watching. In my mind, I have made up 1,001 stories about their lives. And I try to like give them some extra fluff, like, yeah, this person is doing amazing things here. This person is doing amazing things there. And then when I get done, it's like an hour has gone past and I'm like, oh, now it's time for me to go to the next thing. But I've spent that time just with myself. And I always try to keep a journal in the car or on me
mm,
at all times because, sometimes inspiration or something to need to get off your mind for self-care. Like you might have something where your mind is completely boggled down. You may have started a Monday off and you're like going left, but I keep a journal on me so I can write those feelings down. Writing
right,
that down at the moment is helpful for me to get it out of my head, put it on some paper, and then I'm able to then, feel like, okay, I got what I needed to do. Like I'm here, I'm clearing my space.
right, exactly. Workaholic Fila said to save my sanity, I haven't followed a lot of accounts. Yeah, because it's that whole thing about comparison. Social media. You know, we compare a lot of our lives to other people's lives, and oh, why am I not there with my business? Why am I not there with my life? Right? Why am I not engaged yet? So hi, it's Jay Ruggles. Hope I say your name right. He's been a long time follower. I don't know if, well, hopefully he's still on, but he's been a long time follower of ZenLuxCo. So hi. But yeah, I definitely agree with everything that you said. Scheduling it and setting aside time. And sometimes you don't even have to just have plans, like just have a day to yourself to just go out and like sit somewhere or like take a walk. Like I do
Mhm.
that. There's
Or
nothing
you know
wrong with
what?
it.
If there's a show that you really like, let's say like I do a lot of recording. Junior Ruggles. It's
Oh,
Junior
Junior
Ruggles.
Ruggles.
Okay.
Okay.
Hello, Junior Ruggles.
Hello.
If I find that I do a lot of recording of shows because I don't always have the time to watch stuff, so I will go back to that recording and just sit there with some really good snacks and my
Mm,
drink, and that's quality time. Because if I don't have to share a snack with any of the people that live in my house, then that's good. Like I can sit there with that
exactly.
snack.
More for you.
Right, more for me with my little. I have a weighted blanket that I truly believe in. Hi, Dr. Brownie's official. But yeah, like watching TV, especially when I'm intentional about watching TV, love it.
Right, right. Exactly. And that's one of my favorite ways for like leisure time too and to like wind down. People say, oh, TV is garbage, but it's not like you're watching music videos. Sometimes there's nothing wrong with watching Housewives. Like people always say, oh, you're watching garbage if you're watching reality TV. But sometimes other people's like drama and it like like it makes
As
me feel
long as you
better.
can
So
come off from watching that and don't try to create drama in your house just because you watch something,
watch
then
it.
that, like, I feel like
Nothing
everything is
wrong with
in
it.
place. Like, I think we have to understand certain things for certain people is okay. So for me, if that's a problem for me, then don't do it. But if you
Right.
like something, then, and especially if it's not causing any harm, then I suggest you go ahead and do that.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, second question.
Hmm.
What does wellness mean to you?
Ooh, now that's a loaded question.
It is.
It's a very loaded question because I don't want to go by the definition, but for me, um, yes, Workaholic Philly. So I just want to take a quick second. So
For
Workaholic
sure.
Philly
Yeah.
said, Dr. Brownies just saw you on Corey Stories on Thursday. If you live in the Philadelphia area and you believe or have not had any vegan or plant-based treats, Dr. Brownies is the person you want to stop at because she's absolutely
Oh,
amazing. Yes, but for
you
me,
said in
wellness,
what area? You said what state?
Philadelphia. Yep, Philadelphia,
Philadelphia.
PA.
Okay.
Yep.
Dope. Dope.
But wellness for me is about taking care of myself. You know, when I think about mind, body, and soul, I try my best to evaluate, am I doing the best in these different areas? And sometimes
Mm.
being the best in these areas could just be sometimes just showing up or being a part. That's right, she does ship. So everybody's asking, she does ship because she shipped me to me. Yes. Um,
Oh, good. Because I'm currently in Florida, so I have to
you can
check
have them. You can
business
have them
out.
shipped. They're amazing. But
That's dope.
yeah, but for me, it's like I look at myself and I say, you know, have I gotten enough rest? Okay, we never get enough rest. So, how about have I drank enough water? Okay, I need to up my water intake. Or maybe I haven't been as active for the week. So, I try to find
That's a big
ways
one.
to, you know, because sometimes, you know, you don't even realize if you think that being on go is enough activity for you, you're probably needing to do a little bit more. Like, we
Right.
need to find ways of engaging our core and finding ways to work out even if it's just a 15-minute. I have a bike here in that I work on, or whatever the case may be, but just finding that way to move and have movement in our lives is very important.
Exactly. Right. And it's more than just physical activity, right? It's what you're intaking. It's what you do on a daily basis. That's what wellness is. Yeah,
Right.
it is hard to find balance. You're totally right, Dr. Brownie's
It's
official,
I
especially when
listen,
you have a lot going on.
I
Yeah.
would have to say this has been, if I had a self-care, you know, thermometer, this is probably the self-care fail of the week. And the reason why I'm going to say that was because, you know, and again, as much as it's a fail, I'm going to flip it to show how great, how you can flip it around. This
Mm.
week, I have not been as intentional with my self-care as I wanted to be. How
Mm-hmm.
crazy when I'm about to talk about self-care today. But I had a lot of grief and a lot of
Mm.
pain that took place this week. And I think that for me, I had to realize that in the midst of this grief and this pain that I was experiencing this week, I was still taking care of myself in a way that was different than my normal schedule. So, meaning,
Mm.
yes, I wasn't drinking, maybe I wasn't intentional about measuring the amount of water, or I may not have done enough activities for myself, but simply resting or getting some sleep or, you know, recognizing that, okay, this is upcoming week is a new week, as a new day,
Mm.
you know, just
Mm.
recognizing that, because sometimes we beat ourselves up for not achieving these certain goals. Um, but the reality of it is if you show up every day and if you have breath in your body, you have another opportunity to literally get it right. And we
And
don't
change
always
your
have to feel this.
circumstances. Yeah.
Yeah, we can change our circumstances. Like for me, showing up, just showing up today and being ready to talk to other people to help encourage them. Like my job isn't to say that I'm the queen of it, yes, but I also want to encourage anybody who have ever has had a conversation with me knows that it's about me encouraging other people to do your
Mm.
best,
That's
show
good.
up at your best and be your best. Because you know, sometimes when you do that comparison thing and you're looking at other people and what they're doing, you will sit there and have the more self-doubt. You don't need nobody to tell you that you're this and that. You will have somebody, your own self, just doubting yourself, putting yourself down, not
Terrible.
uplifting yourself. You know, these are things that I would wish that if there's somebody, they're by themselves, they don't have a squad, like they don't have a squad of people around them. My goal in prayer is that they would have somebody that can encourage them, and if nobody else, to encourage yourself. Because at the
Exactly.
end of the day, you know, that's what we have to do every single day. We have to adjust ourselves every
Have
single day.
to. Literally, you have to. Yeah, Dr. Brownie's official. You're a human and be authentic is why everyone is joining you. Yeah, I can see that already. She's talking about you, Toy.
Oh, I know.
I
Thank
can,
you, Dr. Brownie.
yeah,
Listen,
I
Dr.
can.
Brownie, I met her a couple of months ago. I believe may even been a year ago. And the
Dope.
same way she's talking now is the same way that she is in real life. So I always love genuine people when I meet them too, because
Mm,
sometimes you need people when you see them. Like you see people online and they're not that same way in real life. You just be like, I wish I could
mm.
encounter the person that they are online. But
In real life.
my goal. I had somebody. So I've experienced that myself, where somebody that I looked up to online, and I just went up to them to say hi. Now, for a person like myself who deals with anxiety from time to time, just walking up to somebody and saying hello
Mm,
is a lot, right?
yeah.
And so when I just said hello, they were in there just frazzled and just kind of like really mean and off-putting. And so I always make sure that you
Mean?
never know what
What?
it took for
Mm.
somebody. Yeah, people are, listen, I could tell
Oh
stories,
no,
but
yeah. Oh
you never
boy.
know what people are encountering. So when people encounter me, like I can't speak for nobody else, but when somebody encounters me, I want them to encounter love and joy and peace. Like they should not
Right.
encounter these negative parts of me, and then I'll go online and be like, well, I was in my, like, I don't want that. Like I want people to
Yeah.
genuinely say, okay, when I had a conversation with her, I really felt better. I felt like, you know, uh, that person was cool. Like they were cool online, they were cool in real life. I'm probably more cooler in real life than I am online, to be quite honest with you. I
Same
mean,
same for me. Yeah,
I'm
same for me.
probably way more cooler in real life than I am online.
Mm, right. Yeah, it's just about being authentic. Because like especially when you have like a public platform, where you show you're more public with your life and what you have going on, it's like life or death to be authentic. So, workaholic, Phyllis, I know what you mean. I don't want to be disappointed in real life. Exactly. Because there's like countless stories of people meeting influencers and celebrities, and like the persona they put online is way, way different than when they encounter them in real life. So,
And
yeah,
also, too, let
that's
me just talk
important.
about this influencing space, too, because I feel like sometimes people, when they're an influencer, oftentimes they're looking for just the things, right? They don't care about
Mm.
they don't care about the company. They don't care
Oh,
some, and not
okay.
all of them. They don't care about the company. They don't care about the fact that if I'm interacting with you, or if I'm, if we're collaborating together, it's supposed to be a mutual agreement. And sometimes I feel like people lose that part of them. And at the end of the day,
Mm.
for me, if I'm an influencer, you see me at something that I was invited to. If you see
Yeah.
me, I'm going to always, enjoy what I'm doing or enjoy what's happening. But in the same time, every company that I've ever gone to something for free, I've always gone back and supported that company. Meaning you
Oh,
either, when
same.
like if somebody gives me something, I'm going to be
Yep.
grateful and thankful, but in the same token, I want to see how can I build into that company. Meaning if a restaurant invites me out for dinner, I'm going to go back to that same restaurant and patron, or while I'm there, make sure that I tip your waitress,
Right.
because it may be the food or the whatever may be free, but the service is not free. And so, just think about that type of thing when I'm out and you're out and about, to not be so going to take, but you're not trying to put back out.
Right. Yeah, we forget that people are still people, influencer or not. Yeah, because when I get an opportunity, when companies send me free products or I go to this event, I'm just like so thankful because it's like this person didn't have to think about me to like invite me to this event, or this company, even if I reached out to them first, they didn't have to like agree to me collaborating with them. So yeah,
And to also, you have to also realize at the end of the day that um the time that you're influencing and you're at that space, and then you go from that space, like the entire time all eyes are somewhat on you, and you need to be aware
true
of that.
that.
Some people
Hmm.
don't, they forget that, so they get really, really comfortable. I try not to get so comfortable, because I do get a lot of opportunities to act as if like I've arrived. So now, like, the Toy Time blog has shown up. Like when people see me, like, listen, and it's funny, but there are so many people who live that lifestyle. But for me,
Yeah.
I'm just like, hey, I'm Toy, thank you for having me. Like, and that's just kind of like how I try to do things.
Right, same. Because I'm not there yet. Like I'm very humble, and I feel like even if I do reach a certain status, I'm still gonna be humble because it's like I wasn't given this. I work hard to be where I'm at. So because of that simple fact, I'm always gonna be humble and be like authentic, you know?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah. I recall someone being really nice to me when they realized I was a luxury hotel manager, but minutes ago was totally rude. Oh my God, yeah.
They People will flip the script when they think
Flip it
like
hard.
they can receive something for you from you. oh, they will be nice as sweet as pie, like molasses. But the second that they don't see the value, this is why you have to go back to, this is why I treat people with the utmost respect, because
Respect. Yep.
we have to go back to that. If you're taking care of yourself, and you're the way you take care of yourself sometimes will also reflect in how you take care and interact with other people.
True that.
I feel like we have to do better in that, because we all talk about humanality when it's tragedy. When something tragic happens,
Mm,
we go back
mm,
to, all of a sudden we have human feelings. But reality is, we need to keep that in mind when we're interacting with people, because people don't deserve to feel like they're being used in any type of way.
yeah,
No one
exactly.
wants to be in that type of space where they feel used. So
Right. And it's not a good feeling, right, at all.
nope.
Oof, great answer. Now, wow, we just totally went off a tangent, but that's like that brings value to this conversation, not just like question answer, you know? Like I like when it goes off a tangent like that. All right, so now third question is what are your favorite ways to self-care?
So let's start from the top and work my way down.
Ooh, you
Big
got a lot, don't you?
Yeah, I got a lot. For like the bigger things with self care, if I can go to like, I love a good staycation. I love
Ooh.
a good staycation. I used to feel guilty, especially being a parent and a wife, that like I wasn't deserving of leaving these people
Mm,
here to fend for themselves. But now I'm like, somebody wants to, if I want to go on a staycation, or somebody offers me a staycation, I'm going to be there, because just sitting, like not even going anywhere, not even leaving the hotel, if I just sleep in that good hotel bed and I rest and I eat and I drink and I just be able to just sink into that bed by myself, I am here for it. And the reason is very, very real for me, is that we don't get enough rest, we don't get enough alone time, and that way I can
oh,
shut the world out and just, be about myself. So if that is the higher end, would be like a staycation or a vacation, because I will go on a solo trip in a hot minute. I love going by myself, because a lot of times when you
same.
have a group of friends or you have family, you have to try to incorporate everybody's likes. Like I'm the type
Mm,
of person that can sit by the pool for 2 hours, where other people may want to be more adventurous and go out on one day. But me,
mm,
I'm like, I may want to do adventure, but maybe not today. So
right.
I feel like those are like my bigger things. But like the smaller things that I love to do when it comes to self care is, I'm a heavy journal writer. I have
Mm,
friends that will give me journals for almost every holiday, whether it's just a, hey, I got you a gift, I just were thinking about you. Nothing of those things bother me. I love journals. I'm going to eventually take my journals and write a book with it. But
oh, that's
yeah,
dope.
just to write like, and write it in like how I was thinking at those moments.
Mm,
But I love to write in my journal. I love to like make a good lemonade. Like I love lemonade, so like making lemonade and drinking that to me is a form of self-care. I love, I mean, I am a foodie, but I love really, really good food. And so like if I can
mm,
have a really good meal, just a really, really, really good meal, not something that I can ordinarily make, just something different out the box, just put a little bit of 5 seconds effort into it and eat that, like I'm good. And I love to go sit at parks or go walk. I love to walk. I'm a runner. I
same.
usually run about 4 or 5 races a year, and I love to run, but I love taking walks. Sometimes get up in the morning and I'll have coffee. I'll have coffee on like the porch and just kind of like sit out there. Again, people watch
Mm.
cars, racing up the street. And I like things like that, because at the end of the day, it allows me again to take that time to slow down. So anything that allows me to slow down, reading a good book is a form of self-care,
Right.
um, that I really enjoy too.
Yeah, and people have it like misconstrued. Like self-care is not just bubble baths and face masks. Like if that's what you think it is, that's your problem. No, self-care is anything that makes your livelihood better, your physical health better, your mental health better. Like you said, literally drinking lemonade, doing your favorite things, that's self-care. Take going for a
Sometimes,
walk, even getting therapy, that's self-care because you're
oh,
taking
listen,
care of your mental health. Like it's so
that's
much
self-care
more
too.
than what people think,
But
you know?
also too, sometimes also outsourcing, outsourcing
Mm. What do you
self-care.
mean by that? What do you
So
mean outsourcing?
outsourcing, especially with being a content creator, we have all these apps that I try not to use as often, but then there's times when I have like 10 deadlines that are at the same time. So let me use an app that's going to make my life better. Somebody said about
Okay.
cleaning and purging, organizing. I am like the person that loves to go in and reorganize and clean and do 1,001 things. Like I love those things too. But like if I can have somebody come in, like I don't have it often, but like let me have somebody come in and clean the house. self-care. That's outsourcing, right?
Exactly.
Or if you like meal delivery services, you can have them come, because now you're not worrying about whether or not you're going to eat. You know what you're going to eat because the meal is prepared for you. So that's a
Coming to
form
you.
of care. Yeah. Sometimes just sometimes I put my phone on do not disturb,
Oh,
and
I
that
always have mine on Do Not
it's
Disturb.
it's a form of self-care, because when you have all those things going off and chimes and telling you, oh, somebody's here, somebody's doing something, somebody wants you, somebody liked your
Mm,
post. Like, I don't need to be in real time seeing how many people are liking my post in real time. I'm gonna come out the app altogether and just let it do its thing
right.
and go on. But like, just doing that is self-care. I do not disturb is my bestie. We go together and it's going to be on.
Right. Yeah. Cleaning, decluttering your space, right? Filtering and
Ooh,
deleting
delete it.
emails. That's
Yes.
a huge thing too. Yeah. Especially being like just a business owner. I feel like when my inbox gets too high, it causes my anxiety. Like, oh, what if I'm missing an important email? Let me filter through these emails. But then that can be stressful, like filtering through the emails, you know?
It does. So
So
I actually
it's,
pick a day. I pick a day that I will go in and do that, because I found that there was times I've actually missed invitations to things.
oh, the
So I
worst.
in the beginning, and this was like in the beginning, and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I missed that. And so I'm the type of person that if I have missed something, I will go back and apologize, let them know what happened, and then say, how can I help
Mm.
you in another form or another way? But in the same time, when it comes to filtering emails, I pick my day and I go through and I'll check the spam, because that's where a lot of the stuff goes. Somehow, whatever,
Oh, true
however stuff is
that.
done for business, it'll go to spam, and I got to go in there, clean it out, and do all those things. But I usually try to do Fridays before I shut my computer, just go through what I missed for the week, go through them and see, what went down. And then I may start off Monday, because sometimes stuff comes over. I don't know why people send emails over the weekend, but I guess it's kind
Oh,
of
it's
like
the worst. Yeah.
in their mind, because I'm not like, I have the email on my phone, but I'm not a hard, like, let me check this email
Yeah.
when
They
it
might
comes to
have it
business.
scheduled to send that day too. Some people do that, which is
They
weird. Why
may.
not wait till Monday? Yeah.
I schedule
So,
all of my emails to go out like Monday at 10, because I feel like anything before that, people are like going through their emails like between 8 and 10. So I try to let
right.
us be like one of the fresher ones. So I don't know, but I have gotten a lot of emails from people over the weekend, different companies that'll send me stuff, and I'm like, on the weekend, I'll hit you again on Monday. And I try to just like,
Right. This can wait. Yeah.
this definitely can wait.
Yeah, but no, that's a good tip though. Yeah, checking your spam mail, every spam folder every now and then, because you never know, like replies. It's weird. It's like random emails get sent there. You sent a reply and then they reply, but it went to the spam folder and you didn't even mark it as spam, but yet it's there. It's so weird how like things get caught up in there. But yeah, definitely check your spam folder every now and again because you never know a reply you might have missed or email that might have went there and you had no clue about it.
Yeah, do check it. It's true. It's real.
Yep. It's the spam folder has me messed up sometimes. Same, because I'm like, damn, like this email's two weeks old and I'm just now seeing it in a spam folder. It's
Yeah.
annoying, actually. That's why it's good to check it. Um, now, fourth question: how do you personally cope with stress?
Mm. I'll give two different responses. On a good day, if I'm, sometimes stress can be so overwhelming that you're not even aware that you're in a stressful
Whew,
moment.
very overwhelming. Yeah.
So, on a good day, I'm aware, right? That means that I haven't allowed my stress levels to go beyond, let's say, a number 5 out of a scale of 10.
Mm,
I'm aware. So I may pull back. I may start initiating all those things like the journal writing or the taking a walk,
mm,
or, just taking a break or putting my phone on do not disturb. You're aware that your stress is happening.
yeah.
Uh, there are moments in life that you're not aware. And I'll share this example because Dr. Brownies, I believe, is on here. Maybe she left, but last week I was in a stressful situation, like complete
Mm,
stressful situation, and it kind of hit extremely quick. I had just came back from LA. My cat I found wasn't home because my husband had taken him to the vet, and we had found
mm,
out as I'm come. Oh, she's here. So I went to an event. I'm
mm.
on my way to an event. I hop out of the Uber. The doctor calls and says, I think you need to come to the hospital because I don't think the cat's going to make it. Now, for those who don't like cats, don't like animals, it may not mean anything. You might be like, okay, you're ODing it. This is extra. However, the problem
No,
is at
people
the
love their family pets.
listen, I love
Yeah.
my cat. So at the time, as I'm walking into the event, all these thoughts are going on, and I'm seeing people that know me, I know them, and they can see my face. So my face is starting to,
Mm.
and so I don't want that interaction because again, I'm very particular about that. And I go to sign in, but I said to the lady, to the check-in person, I said, listen, I'm checking in. I'm here, but I'm going to leave. So I will call the PR. Oh, Tony, yes. I don't know why I don't know why I never call you your real name. So Tony of Dr. Brownies. And I was leaving. And so as I was leaving, I didn't realize how much stress I was having on me, to the
Mm.
point where now I'm in the middle, not necessarily in the middle of the street, but I'm on the sidewalk. And I am now crying like the biggest baby in the whole world.
Oh.
Like I was on the phone with my mom and I'm trying to explain to her what happened. My husband is on his way to come and pick me up. And in the midst of that, I'm also getting information about just other things that are happening. It's like almost like a avalanche of like grief and despair
Mm.
was happening. And Tony was there. She grabbed me and she like hugged me, and I needed that at that moment. But sometimes when you're in the midst of
Mm.
like everything going to hell in a handbasket quick, you don't have that person that can just grab you. Like you could be sitting at home and having this mountain of stress happening. So sometimes, you'll be at the right place at the right time and somebody else can see you that you're stressed. Like I've had people reach out to me and was like, I think I see that you're stressed. Sometimes we don't
Mm.
want to receive that because we're like, what do you mean? Like, I'm trying my best not to appear. I try my best to
Right.
not
So no
appear.
one like thinks that
Don't
or is
don't
alarmed.
read
Yeah.
me. Yeah, don't read the stress that I'm having or I'm experiencing. But I needed her to recognize that, and she saw me, and she was very helpful into helping me. And it may have seemed like something so small, but that really carried me for the next couple of days.
I'm sure.
And even beyond that, like recognizing that when you're in an avalanche of stress and you feel like everything is on you, just simply sitting sometimes and being still. Because sometimes our mind works to where we want to figure out a solution, and everything may not be solution based. It may not even
Mm.
be about the solution, meaning you may eventually find one, but sometimes it's just about you taking that pause, sitting
Right.
still and not doing anything. I don't know if it was like a little unofficial leave from this week. I had stopped going to any event for the rest of the week. I even had companies that they sent me an invitation. I didn't RSVP and they contacted me anyway. And I was just, I'm sorry, I can't. Like I
Oh,
needed
wow.
a
Yeah.
break. And
Right.
sometimes we need to initiate breaks. And when we don't take enough breaks, things will happen that'll cause us to have to take a break. It is so important in this social media influenced world that you take a break. If it's nothing but putting a timer and staying off your phone for an hour, maybe you can't do a full day. Maybe you can't do a half a day. Maybe you can do an hour, but taking a break, because
Yeah.
this world, the social media world, this, blogging world, this whatever you're
Mhm.
doing, putting out your business and running a company, like you have to put
Oof.
stop and a break.
That part. That part. And it can literally be between life and death, right? Because no one handles like feeling overwhelmed. Like no one handles that like good. So
No.
yeah, yeah, it's right. Being a business owner, a blogger, an influencer, literally, because it can really just help those creative juice flow. Like when you give your mind a pause, when you give yourself a pause. Um, yeah, it's not small. We all experience hurt and should have empathy for ourselves and others. Yeah, sometimes you have to be your own best friend and know when you're not feeling well, because it's blessed that you have people in your life that can tell when like something's not right, and they give you a hug, like you said. They can tell that you're not being your normal self. But sometimes we have to like reflect and say, okay, I'm not in a good headspace right now. I'm not gonna attend this event, go out with friends, whatever. Like I'm just gonna sit and just gather myself for a moment.
Right. And
Um,
it's not like the pause had to be forever. Like obviously I
right.
ended up going to something later, like Friday I went to a play that I'd already agreed to go to, but like just having those couple days where I just was like, I just need to sit. I need to sit and make sure that
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay. I need to take care.
Exactly.
And it's okay to have those selfish moments where other people will be like, oh my gosh, if I tell somebody that I'm unable to do, like they'll pass me by. I'm a firm believer that nothing can pass by me that's for me.
Mm,
If it's for me, it's going to circle back and come to me. And that's literally how I run my life. There's been times where I felt like I've missed an opportunity because I didn't jump on something right off the bat. But
mm.
if it's for me, it will come back. It will come because it's not a missed opportunity. It was just that the timing wasn't right. And
Wasn't
so
right.
be in the right timing than to just jump into something because I feel like I'm going to miss something. Nothing that you're doing is going to be technically missed. Everything will come full circle when it's your time. You can't miss out on anything. I'm not going to miss out on coin. I'm not going to miss out on experiences. I'm not going to miss
Right.
on, exposure. I'm not going to miss out on any of those things because I have to take care of myself. Because while I'm
Exactly.
showing up just because something came my way, I'm not going to come and show up as my best self.
At all. At all. Right. And you're right. Especially when you're in that space, when you feel like you've missed an opportunity, you miss, a networking event, whatever, you miss exposure by meeting this person and going to that event, you feel like you're not like doing well in what you're doing in the space that you're at and the
Right.
space that you're in. So sometimes it's okay to, and that's the thing, sometimes it's okay to miss out on things. Like it's not life or death. Like other opportunities will come, other events will come, other networking like situations will come. That's how what I say to myself.
Yeah.
Um,
But we
yeah.
got to remember that we just got to keep reminding ourselves. I think a lot of things just comes from not reminding ourselves enough.
True
We are
that.
so gory into that, the next best thing, we got to jump on it. But, at the end of the day, what is for you is going to be there. And as long as you remember that while you're creating, while you're, attempting to balance, I say
Yep.
attempt because, what is balance? Like, what is that?
Right. I remember one a past guest that I had on the series said it's harmonizing because balance it's like I don't know, it can have a negative connotation, but when you think of it as harmonizing, like everything that you have going on, you fits in and blends in together instead of balancing like, oh, which is most important, least important, just harmonizing it all.
Yeah.
That was a good way to put it.
Yeah,
Um,
and I also want to say something too about taking care of yourself. There's a lot of times where we don't do the things that we want for ourselves because we're expecting other people to do it. For instance,
right.
as a married woman, you would think I would have flowers just, being dropped from a husband like every week, but like that's not his thing. He doesn't really like flowers is not his thing. Like so a lot of times he will get me flowers because he knows I like it. But like for instance, I will go out each week and get myself a bouquet of flowers.
Mm,
Why? Because if I like something and it's going to make uplift my spirits, or if it's going to make me feel good about something, like I'll go and buy it. Like nothing wrong with doing certain things that you're expecting from other people. If you treat yourself well, other people will treat you well too.
true
So
that.
I feel like sometimes we don't do those little things. I'll go to the movies and treat myself to a date. I will take like, you got to get back to some of those basic fundamentals of how you take care of yourself because we don't do enough of that. We're always expecting someone else to do or to take care of. And reality of it is that we're responsible for taking care of ourselves.
And also, right, I was going to say different love languages for different people and also understanding like what you like. Like some people don't know what makes them happy, things, activities they like to do. So just like gathering that first, like what do I like to do? Like what activities makes me happy? And then, right, even if you're like married, single, whatever, by yourself, like, right,
You
like
still
there's
have to
nothing
know
wrong.
yourself. You really do. Because listen,
Yep.
I'm gonna tell anybody that's listening and they're single and they're thinking that you're gonna get married and your spouse is just gonna love all the things that you love. They're not.
Mm-mm. No
And
one's
so are you
perfect.
going to
Yeah.
stop doing those things because your spouse doesn't want to go? Like, no, like I'm going to go and pick up and do the things that I still want to do. And, he'll eventually, like a lot of times he will go and do a lot of the things that I wanted. Like there's always a compromise, but at the same time, some people will just give up and not do anything just because they don't, that
Mm,
doesn't, gel with them on certain things. But no matter what stage you're in, you have got to really put that in time into yourself and invest that time into you and what it is that you enjoy, because remember that building that part of you, of those parts of you that you love, is really making you who you are.
true that. True that. Right. And yeah, our partners might have different love languages than we do. So, like you said, yeah, I assume for some reason, I assume like married couples, like the husband is always buying the wife flowers, but no marriage is perfect like that. Like, so, right, you like receiving flowers, but your husband might
It may
like
not be on
express his love in a different
right.
way. Yeah,
He'll do other things, and so
exactly.
we've learned to blend our marriage. And two, I'll just give this a little bit of a 5 seconds, but you also have to understand you cannot build your relationship, your marriage, and different things according to other people's marriages and things that you see, because a lot of times
Right.
you're trying to do what, so and so in the other house is doing over there. At the end of the day, that's not your marriage. You don't know what they
Exactly.
got going on over there. You don't know what they're building. That's their grass. Let them water their grass. They're gonna water it. We're gonna water it
Right.
our way. But yeah, I had to get back to that simple notion of, what do I like? What are the
Mm.
things that make me literally light up? What are those things that make me smile?
Make me
Uh,
happy. Yeah.
what are those things that make me happy? And those are the things that I gravitate towards. I gravitate towards that, and those things make me feel good. Like, for instance, I like going to hotter places. My husband doesn't like a lot of heat. So when
Mm.
we have those differences, but I'll take a solo trip. I took a solo trip to Sedona in Arizona.
Mm.
I enjoyed that 100+ heat. Like, I was okay with it. Like,
Right.
but I like those types of things. And when I came back, I was so refreshed, so, ready to go back into doing my normal routine, and getting back into those things, because it was something that I enjoy. Like, we can't
Right.
forget those things that bring us joy. And I know this world is dark, and I know we have,
Oof. More than dark.
it's dark. It's like midnight black out here. uh, it's midnight black out here if you
All
just look
right.
at the news. But I just am a firm believer of, there's just some form of joy that we can bring into other people's lives, and how we carry ourselves, and we can bring into our own lives. And
Yeah.
you got to find that. I mean, if you talk about self-care, what are those things that you can do right inside of your home that literally
Mm.
be like,
Yeah.
hey, you know what, I really needed that today, and I'm so grateful I took that moment to do that. I mean, that really is what self-care is. Although there's
Exactly.
many things you can do with it, it's about recognizing what it is that you need from day to day, from moment to moment. You go to work
Exactly.
and everybody's gone crazy. Can you take 5 minutes to take a quick walk so you can gather your thoughts and come back and be a team player? Can you go listen to a podcast while you're working that's going to, rejuvenate and rebuild you?
Yep.
Is your go-to song? Like, what's your go-to song? What's your mantra? Like, there are things that we don't think about, but that is a form of self-care. And you can do those things even when you're out and about. Just, what is it that you need so that you can be your
Exactly.
best self? Like, how can I make sure that I'm good? If you
Right.
ask yourself, am I good? I may not be perfect, right? I may not be perfect. Things could be happening around me, but what can I be so that I'm good right now?
Exactly. You just, I can't even like add on to that. Like you said everything so perfectly. Um, yeah, workaholic filler, binge watching shows and getting takeout. Right. Everyone's love language is different. So, right. And never compare your relationship to whatever, to their relationship, your marriage to their marriage. Like
Or you as
your single life to their
right, to
single
somebody
life. Like
else's
every
life. Don't do it, because comparison is a thief of joy.
of
You
joy.
will
Yep.
literally be hitting yourself like up against a wall, trying to be like somebody else, when we don't know
Yeah,
what it took for that person to live the life that they're in now. I
exactly.
was a single stay-at-home mom. Like, I'm not a single stay-at-home, but I was a stay-at-home mom. I would be like complaining because I didn't have adult friends. I couldn't go out to the
Mm,
things that I enjoyed. But a lot of it too didn't have nothing to do with me not having people. It was the ability for me not thinking that I was okay enough to that I could be a good mom and go
mm,
out and do these things. So instead of taking the time to leave them kids with their father, I would just complain about, oh, I don't have the time to do these things. But
mm.
sometimes it's about us not prioritizing the things that matter to us the most. So I've been learning to prioritize, what are the things that matter. Like, at the end of the day, what are those things that are going to matter to me the most? And those are the things that I need to try to accommodate in the schedule, instead of accommodating a lot of things. I used to sit at nighttime watching like hours upon hours of TV. And we talked about binge watching. There's a difference
Yeah,
between binge watching and then let the TV watch you, where you really ain't got a real purpose of TV watching. You're just kind of like there, and
right.
then complaining that you're tired. So it's like, okay, I'm going to set some time to watch TV and then do that binge watching, but let's set an alarm and cut it off at a
Mm,
certain time so that I can then maybe go ahead and get that rest
yeah,
I'm not getting enough of. So, we,
right,
and I don't know if that's balance, or like you said, the harmonizing of it, but that is the harmonizing of it, just discovering what works for you, how much
right.
whatever it is that you need so that you can get the most fulfillment of joy. Like, joy is something that it's not about having the things, like, although people who may have more money may have more access to things that make them
Mm,
joyful, but whatever our level of access is, we have to learn to walk in that joy, because as we increase our level in access, you may find that you don't do as much as you would love to do for the things that you love.
True that. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't even know what to say. Like you just said everything like so perfectly. Um, yeah, I think like replied to all the comments. But yeah, next question. We're just gonna go right into the next question. Are you vocal about your needs enough?
I say yes now. There was times when I wasn't, but I would say yes now.
You've gotten better like
I've
over
gotten a
time?
lot. Yeah, I've gotten a lot better over time because sometimes, again, it's this need to want to do everything, and trying to be everything for everybody. So I wouldn't say I just need to take a nap. But
Mm,
now, like, I'll say to everybody in the house, like, listen, I do a lot of preparing dinner ahead of time. So I'm like, hey guys, food's there, and you guys can handle that, and I'm gonna go take a quick nap, or
mm,
I need to go take a like something simple. Like I'll do things like I'll need to go in a car and just drive for an hour. And in Philadelphia, that's easy because anything that you do could be 30 minutes out and 30 minutes back. But
right.
into like a Starbucks or a coffee shop and go for that 30 minutes to go get that, listen to a podcast and come back. And in that hour of time, I'm good. Like it makes me a lot better for what I need. And also not being ashamed of saying I need certain things.
Mm,
I may need a hug, or I may need to, go out with my friends, or I may
yeah.
need to just have my own time, whatever it is, not being afraid to speak up. And I think sometimes too, because we're so used to and so conditioned that if we say something, it makes us look, like we're not in control of our emotions or
Mm,
not in control of what we're doing every single day. But I feel like that makes you more socially and more emotionally in control because you know what you want and you know what you need.
right. Right. Yeah, workaholic filler. I asked myself, is this worth losing sleep over? If it is a TV show, can I just watch it online at a later date, more convenient for me? Yeah, that's what Toy said. Like finding what works for you and when it works for you. Um, but yeah, next question. So with the new year here, are there any positive changes that you want to make in your life? Oh, I think she's frozen. Hmm. I think Toy is frozen. Um, oh, yep. Yeah, she dropped out, I think, her Wi-Fi or something. Oh, there she goes. She's right back in. I love that. Just waiting for her to come back in. But yeah, Toy has been like one of the perfect guests. Oh, there you go. There we go.
Don't ask because I don't
I
know.
know my Wi-Fi does that too. It's totally fine. It's
Like,
totally
what?
fine. Yeah, so the question I asked is, with the new year here, are there any positive changes that you want to make in your life?
Yes. One, getting better sleep, better quality of sleep.
I see that you prioritize rest a lot in your life.
Yes, because before I never did. Like my parents, I just saw my dad just joined. They're
Oh,
like,
your dad. Wow.
he's world traveler extraordinary.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, that's him. So,
Okay.
like, they'll be like, "Girl, you going everywhere? You need somewhere to sit down somewhere." So, like, prioritizing like sleep and rest and, getting all of that. For me also this year, making sure that I'm taking care of my health, like making sure that I'm completely healthy. This is why I encourage, hi dad. Um, somebody said hi to my dad.
Yeah.
But workaholic Philip, thank you for saying hi to my dad. But like things like I'm sure my mom is watching right next to him. So hi mom too. Um, doing things like making sure that my health is, encouraging others and myself to go to the doctors, to get a
Mm,
checkup, to see about your health, to make sure you're, see a nutritionist, make sure you're eating the right things, um,
right.
that you're trying to get you're not necessarily a diet, but that your diet is good. Doing things like that to make sure that I'm the best that I can
Hello.
be. Yes.
Right. Especially
So,
in the Black community, yeah, we don't take seriously checkups and doctor visits like as we should.
right. And even if you don't feel like you need a mental health person, like when you think about your Rolodex of doctors, you for
Mm,
women, you have OBGYN and
mm,
you have your regular doctor, you may have a specialist that you're seeing for whatever health issues you may have, but you should
right.
always also have somebody that you can talk to about your mental health. And it may begin to, yeah, I know she is. It may begin to, my mom is listening, yes.
Yeah.
It may be also, starting from your family doctor and then taking it up to other levels. But you really need to find and have that person on your team, because sometimes you may
Right.
not be in a mental health crisis in the very beginning, but as time goes on, as days go on, as months go on, you might find something that triggers you. You need to have somebody that you can call, that you're not having to then find them. And if you
Right.
don't have that and you're like, I don't know what the first thing to do to get to that, I would suggest going to talk to your family doctor.
Mm,
And don't let them tell you, okay, well, maybe you should just, do the whole resting. Because sometimes you can't rest your mental health away, right? And you can't
mm.
self-care your health away. You might need
Sometimes it's a chemical
it might be a chemical imbalance. I've had to
balance.
been times where I've had to take medication, especially when I was dealing with postpartum, to get that together.
Mm,
So you
right.
should have these different people on your team. And for me, for this year is making sure that my health is good, that I am seeking the help that I need at all given times. Having people on my team, and my team, I don't have a team yet. I'm working on that, but my team is the people that I can talk to, the people I can outsource. So whether that be
Right.
a friend, my family, um, and people that will tell me, the truth, and those types of things. I try to have them where I can be a sound, where I have good sounding board, where people aren't going to be yes people, where they're going to be balanced and say, you
Mm,
should cut back, or don't take that. I don't think that's a good idea. So that's the type
right.
of focus for the year that I'm working on.
Right. And for me, it would definitely be try to exercise more. But yeah, Workaholic said, as a woman, we need to prioritize our health too, even as a CEO of our family's life. Right. So I don't care what nobody says. The wife usually like wears the pants in the house. Like it's a partnership with husband and wife, but
Mhm.
usually the mom, like the kids go to the mom first before the dad, of our families. We
And
need to
also,
be our test scans, etc. Gift yourself, right, and your
mhm.
family.
Also
Yeah,
encourage the men in your family, whether you're married or not, because men are less likely to go to the doctors to see for themselves if they need help.
true that.
Encourage the men and the women in your life to go and get help. Ask them, when's the last time they've been to the doctor? When's the last time they've, seen an OBGYN? Or for
Mm,
men, when's the last time they've had the different things checked out? Like, you need to be, I try to do the best I can to see about the people that I love, because the worst thing for me is to have a situation where something happens down the line and I could have just taken that 5 seconds to say, are you okay? Do you have the things that you need? Have you been to the doctor? And making sure people are good around you as you're also being good to yourself.
right, exactly. Because the relationships that you have in your life affect you like greatly. The people
Yes,
you keep around you affect you greatly.
very much.
Yeah, instead of saying I don't know or we don't talk about it. Right. And especially again, like I hate to circle around this, but especially like black men, they're usually most hesitant to get like checkups and go to the doctor, for their health. So that's important.
Yeah, try
Um,
to encourage them. Sometimes you may encourage them, and honestly, they may not be as receptive. They just may not, but at least be the person that's always trying to encourage. Because a lot of times they may not receive it from you; they may receive it from somebody else. But I
mm,
try to do the best that I can to at least be, open the conversation, and at least have that conversation, so that I feel like I've done my part. Again, we're all connected in some way to other people around us, and
of course.
we gotta at least attempt. Like, it may not work out the way we think, but I want to at least make that attempt. So, everybody can be, our health really is our wealth. And we say that so many,
Ooh,
but we don't
yes.
realize that if you're sick and laid up in the hospital somewhere and you can't, how are you going to be your best self if you can't, lift up? Somebody else is having to take care of you because you
Exactly.
wouldn't take care of yourself. So that's the type of mindset that I try to keep myself in, and encouraging my kids too. Talking about health, eating right, and showing my kids, living by
The big one.
example. That they can see that as well. Because again, I don't want them to think that this is like a mom thing. This is a everybody thing. So I always push.
Right.
This is not a mom thing. This is an everybody thing.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel like, well, if that happens to me, if I get married and have kids, I would be the same way, like encouraging like healthy eating habits, physical exercise,
And we
yearly
talk about mental
checkups.
health care too in our house too. So our kids are very
Oh,
much, yeah,
yes.
they hear it very much often. They know exactly, and we talk about it even for them. Like, what does that mean for children? Um,
Mm.
what do they need? And listening to them, and especially, you see these again, these tragedies that happen, and
Oh
then
my
we begin
gosh.
to talk about these things. But you should try to talk about it as early as possible so that they learn. Because, if we're teaching kids to be in a society so that they can grow up, they need to be able to be normal practice. I didn't grow up where my parents on here, we didn't grow up learning about yoga and, doing
Mm.
mental health care. It was like get up, and do the very, the basic things, but we didn't hear that. And so,
Right.
my kids have the opportunity, and then their kids will be something that I didn't do. You know what I mean? That I didn't do,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
they're going to have to, teach their kids something. But at least we're putting that into the atmosphere.
Right. Exactly. Because it's crazy. It's like ugh, I hate to go there, but like the suicide rate, it's like you hear it all the time. Like it's rising so badly, rising so much,
Even
and it's
with
like
kids as young
younger
as
and
7 or 8.
younger.
Right, 7 or 8 years.
Exactly.
Well, you should be still playing with some Barbie dolls and some action figures, and you shouldn't be thinking about how stressful you are because you're dealing with a bully at
Right.
school or you're not being heard at home. And so, I
Mm.
feel like, always encouraging parents to not think that kids are not able to receive or they're not able to know that there's something wrong, and
Yeah.
building that atmosphere where they can openly talk about it. But I also want to caution parents, if there are any parents on here, is to be careful of the things that you talk about, because when they hear you talk negatively about something, and it could be something that they're going through and they're not saying anything, they already know what your response is going to be. So just
Yeah.
have to be aware of the things that we're saying, because it matters. Because when your child is going to want to open up, don't be the barrier to that.
Mm. Right. Right. Like create a healthy space for them to open up and like share their feelings, because then things like that wouldn't happen, those tragedies. Like at that age, I didn't even know what that was. It's
I didn't
just
know nothing
kids
about that
these
till I,
days are
till I got grown. I didn't know
yeah,
anything about that. Now
me
these
either.
kids are being exposed, but I also think too a lot of it has to do with our how much we're allowing them to either be on social media or on
That's
their
right.
electronics or on the laptops. I'm the firm believer I snatch electronics at a certain hour. We don't be on
Oh,
them
that's
all day.
smart.
Yeah, they don't sleep with them in their room. They are completely on a different floor. So they, there's no, well, I thought I snuck around and got it. You'd have to be intentional to go to another floor to try to get to
Get
those
your
electronics,
phone.
because they're
Yeah.
they're charging and they're not in your space. Not allowing kids to sleep with them in their room. And
Right.
yeah, we try to, little healthy initiatives. We try to do walks, and we get out
Mm.
the family to be active. We're going to go later on today. It's still early enough for us to go to the park and run around and,
Oh,
you
that's
know,
fun.
active, like active.
Right. And like kids these days, like what is it like what is a playground? Like that's dope. Your kids even know what a playground is,
Yeah, what's
right?
a
Because
playground? Or we have, game nights where we play as a family. We do things like that. So, creating that atmosphere, having dinner and breakfast and things together. I feel like those are types of little things that I think parents are not aware that their kids, like that's maybe the old school way, but some of the old school way things that we did are really important because, yes, we have electronics, we have Wi-Fi, we have all these different things, but just like us as adults who need to take a break and step away, so do kids. And the kids probably
same
need
for
to step
them.
away a little bit more than adults, because their brains are like, sponges. They absorb everything that they see and hear.
True
So
that. True
yeah.
that. Yeah. So yeah, so that's all the questions that I asked each guest. Toy, it's been a pleasure. See if I
Thank you.
like missed any comments.
I'm
But
touch
yeah.
the button because every time I touch the button, I can log out.
Uh-oh. But yeah, this whole live would be on our YouTube channel, ZenLuxCo, on YouTube. So the full like episode, and then of course I'll send follow-ups tomorrow or Tuesday because tomorrow is Memorial Day.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you wanna like post your website or your blog in the chat, and I can
Sure.
pin it for anyone that's left in the live. But you provided like so much knowledge, so much wisdom, like more than I can ever think of.
That's good.
Yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in. Toy is our 20th like episode. Like she's the 20th guest. So this series, we're we're picking up.
Well, I love that you
um,
have this series, again, so people can
yeah,
hear from other people, their experiences may be the same or different, and we can all
exactly.
each other.
Yep. Thank you. Yeah. So nice meeting all you guys that came in.
Yes, thank you for joining.
Thank you for coming, Toy.
Of
And
course.
yeah, we'll be in contact tomorrow or Tuesday. And yeah, I know you said you're going to the park with your kids, so I know they're like excited for that. It's
Because
a
any,
lot of exciting things happening
yeah, yeah.
Memorial Day weekend. Yeah.
We're pretty late, low key. I went to see some of my family yesterday, so
Oh, that's dope.
yeah.
That's dope. Do you live in Philly? Like, do you currently?
I live in Philadelphia, but I
Okay.
have family in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, so I went to go see them.
So
Yeah, so I had a really good time.
that's nice. Yeah, I was in Philly back in January, so it's always fun there.
Well, next time,
Um,
let me know.
oh, for sure. Yeah. That's like a staycation. I feel like anything that's in the United States is a staycation. I don't know. Or what, a 10-mile radius? I don't know.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
Philly's dope. Yeah.
yeah,
It's
there's a
very
lot
nice
of things.
there.
People need to learn how to be a tourist in your own city or like do a staycation. You don't got to go far. Like you may not be able to do like a full vacation where you go on a flight, but like I do
Yeah.
staycations right here in Philadelphia. A lot of the hotels I've worked with, I'll go and I'll stay or I don't necessarily need to work with them. I'll just go and I just like
Mm.
just get that rest. So sometimes just taking a rest in your own city is good too. Outside of your environment, where somebody else can do the cooking. That sign me up for that.
And the cleaning, right? If you're at
And
a hotel.
yes, I don't
Yeah,
want to.
sometimes that change of scenery is so needed. That change of scenery. That's what it's right. That's what it's about. So
Mm,
yeah, Toy, have a good self-care Sunday and enjoy the rest of your day and your Memorial Day weekend. And thanks again for, being a guest and supporting my business and supporting, my video series.
absolutely, and continue blessings in your business. Let it go all the way up, and
Oh,
let you.
girl, I'm trying. It's hard out here.
Yes, I know. Just do your thing. Keep doing your
Yes. Thank you. You too, you
thing.
too. You got a lot of things going on too. So thank you guys. Okay, bye Toy.
Bye,
Have a good
everybody.
Sunday. Bye everyone.